Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today, I have my co-host, Barbara, here with me. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes. Hi, Johnny. Happy Wednesday. I'm so glad to be doing this show with you. You brought me such great news. Go ahead, introduce our fabulous guest.
I want to say something about our fabulous guest as well. You know, it's before the show, I was saying that one of the things that I really like about this lady, and by the way, you know, I'm building a Roku channel for her. One of the things that I really like about this lady is that she gets along with everyone. I mean, you know, she may not agree with everything that somebody says, but she gets along with everyone. There's no.
How can you say that, Johnny? How can no. She may not get along with everyone, but it's how she handles it. What
right, that's
matters.
What I mean, yes. It's okay. The vibe. You give off a very open and very accepting vibe. And
you
that's
feel
one of
very
the things
safe
I like
with
about
this person. Like,
yes.
This person makes people feel safe and nurtured, and the answers are there, and knowledgeable. We could go on and on and on. So you do the honors and tell everybody who we have on tonight.
Sunshine Frost, Christian Clairvoyant and Medium. You are the founder of Metaphysical Christianity, and you serve internationally as a Christian Clairvoyant, and you are an intuitive teacher. Am I right in that?
Yes. That is exactly right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on the show tonight.
Of
I'm
course.
really excited.
And
I love this show.
We love having you. And thank you so much. I already have a smile on my face. And our loyal listeners know you, too. And plus, they probably follow you on all of your fabulous things that you're doing. You're the busiest person I know. But... they can always go to Life, Laughter, Happiness and listen to those episodes. But you were saying before we went on air about something that you've never even talked about on air. And you're on air quite a lot. And that was your life after death experience?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, me and Johnny, we were talking off air in the green room right before this show started. And you know, he said, Sunshine, I just have to say, when I talk about you, and, you know, you can correct me, Johnny, but he said, when I talk about you, people say you have this vibe of sunshine. And that's my actual name. But
that's right.
Said, well, thank you, you know. And he said, I just don't know how you always seem to be so upbeat. You seem to get along with everyone. And I said, you know, I just love everybody. I just never met anybody I couldn't find something to like about. And he said, that's just such a rare quality. Is that what you were saying, Johnny?
That is what I was saying.
So
and
true.
I told him, I definitely was not always like this, guys. I wasn't always enlightened and awakened. I was very average. No, I definitely wasn't. I was very average, maybe below average. I had a really hard childhood. I had a lot of abandonment and abuse. I was raised in foster care for a few years. I got into drug addiction. I was very religious. Even in spite of all these things, I had a super religious upbringing. I thought I knew exactly what was on the other side. I was sure I was, you know, hell-bent, that God had already turned his back on me because I had turned on him. I had left the church. Couldn't find a place in the church with my gifts or with really anything I had been going through. I just couldn't find a place. And so I had kind of backed out of the door of the church, and I had a lot of resentment. I felt very bitter, critical, very cynical, very untrusting of the world. I had went through many experiences where I just had lost my value in humanity to an extent. And after I think that's a great way to put it.
You were feeling such a strong feeling in your heart. I think we've talked about this before. Without a lot of studying Jesus and Christianity, and you were feeling such a strength of belief that you knew for sure but then it could still be confusing because maybe you then hadn't studied it, because you were saying you felt like maybe unworthy. You were
100%.
not good to him. So, So then when
I knew
you have
Jesus,
more of an eye-opening?
Yeah, so I kind of knew who God was on paper, and I knew who Jesus was on paper. I kind of knew who Buddha was on paper. I mean, I kind of had studied them. But from what I understood, they just really didn't have a place for someone like me, because I had known the truth and I still rejected it. And I just felt like I wasn't in a position. I was in a very desperate survival street mode. I felt like the choices I were making were for my own survival, but they didn't match anything that I had been taught in Sunday school. So I felt very lost and desperate. I felt very separated from God and my higher self, which I know now is my own part of myself that remains with God. I was really disconnected, and I got into a deep depression, and I got addicted to drugs. And when I was 17, I found myself in a hotel room with another girl and 2 older men, and I overdosed on a drug. And I talk about that more in detail, but for the listeners, I don't want to get into super details. But I ended up overdosing, and my heart stopped, and I had a cardiac arrest. I was actually born with a heart defect that I didn't know about. At 17, I had no idea. And then I was diagnosed again at 19, and I had heart surgery just 2 years ago to stop from being on heart medicine for 19 years. But during this experience, my heart actually stopped, and I died. And nobody was with me. I was completely alone in a bathtub in a hotel room. And I felt myself completely die. And that experience changed me forever. Because what I know now is what I try to bring into the world. And I constantly live with that knowledge. For every near-death survivor that's out there, whether you've been validated by the medical community or not, you know very well what you experienced. And it is so surreal that it's a memory that never fades. It's a memory that has no time limit. It doesn't matter if it's been 40 years, 60 years. I've met near-death survivors that happened months ago to 40 years ago. They'll remember it as if it was the last moment that they lived. It's so surreal, completely lucid, and that experience just changed me forever, Barbara.
I understand. Wouldn't it be the same if a person went into what they call another realm with meditation? Could they ever reach that point that you did when your heart stopped?
I think there's many levels to it. Definitely, from what I've been shown, there's basically 3 major kingdoms. There's 12 levels, and in each of those levels, there's 12 more. So it's really infinite how much there is on the other side. There's always more to learn and to understand, which is great. But I think the ultimate path is love. That when they say God is love, he really is love. And even without any religion being involved, it's just a pureness of love. And when we meditate, any religion in the world, when they meditate, they get into a centeredness, into a oneness with the source. Okay, we call it God, whatever we want to name it. It's fine, doesn't matter. But that source is complete love. And I definitely think that meditation can help you find it. Prayer, religion sometimes can push you toward it or away from it. It can go both ways. But definitely it changed me for who I was.
Feeling. Sorry to interrupt, but the meditation and all that, but that euphoric feeling where you just feel like, would you call it sunshine, Frost? Would you call this feeling heaven? Were you in heaven?
Not at first. Mine's very different.
Take us through exactly.
Yeah,
I know it's probably hard to explain, though, isn't it?
Probably. I'll try not to
like
sensationalize it. Yeah, I'm going to try not to sensationalize it because I do write about this in my book, Surviving Death.
Oh,
so
just tell us about your book really quickly too, because I would like to know more.
Yeah, it's not out yet. I decided to do a mini series of books. I choose that most people don't want to read a 200-page book anymore. For me, it's a lot. So I did small ebooks. They're going to be available on Amazon and some other booksellers where you can download it and you can read them in like between 1 and 3 days. And I broke it up. So I have one. Yeah, I have one called Surviving Death. I have one called Surviving Grief. It's for those that have remained behind when their loved one has passed. I have a series called Surviving Suicide. It's for the survivors of those left behind from the tragedy of suicide. It talks about what that soul transition looks like. I want to erase the stigma. I don't want people to be encouraged to do it, but I want to encourage those that are left behind surviving with the trauma to know how to navigate that, because we're still living in a very hypercritical world, still being told their loved ones went to hell and other such things. So, no, from that experience, that's not all what I see. So I just want to increase the hope factor. And then I have one called Tears from Heaven, Surviving the Loss of a Child. And that's about exactly what it says. You know, it's help to a mother and father's heart. For those people that ask, where is my child? Is heaven for real? Are they okay there? I'm not with them. Are they going to be there? Do they age? So I answer a lot of those questions because I'm a medium.
Will they see them again?
Yeah, I mean, I've done 147,000 sessions with a 99.9% accuracy, remote viewing, virtual mediumship. And I just feel like it's all been a great case study in what heaven is like. And I feel really grateful to have walked on both sides of that veil. And I want to take as much time as I can to help those that are here that are stuck in this grief, guilt trap. And they're not living the life that they still have to live. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you find that the children who you are getting in tune with when you're doing your mediumship, that you are they more open to you, children rather than adults that have passed?
You know, I have 4 kids, and I also have an orphanage with 51 orphans. And so for me, I'm a kid-friendly person. I'm just somebody that kids and animals they're attracted to me. I'm attracted to them. I'm a Pisces, which I have a very childlike spirit. So for me, kids love me and I love them. So I can't tell you because I only know that factor. But I talk a lot about this in the little mini books the mini series I'm doing. But with every child spirit that comes through, Barb and Johnny, there isn't always a guardian with them.
Oh, yes. You did tell us that before. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah.
We need the comfort.
The near death, and then let's definitely get into that. That ebook is going to be called Tears from Heaven, and it's surviving parental loss, loss for parents, or childhood loss, excuse me. And it's a support
very
guide.
Important right now.
Yeah, and the books
to interject.
Yeah, so important.
Sunshine.
Yeah.
Before you tell us more about your experience, that what you are doing with that is so important, because there's so many more people out there right now that are experiencing that, parents who have lost a child with all of these horrible, senseless shootings, which are now, by the way, not even making the news. It's just a daily ranking how many. This is what it's come to. There are so many parents out there that need this comfort. You must be really busy, unfortunately, for them, with that topic. That's so sad.
I just love kids. And having had my near-death experience at 17, I was really stuck between still being a child and trying to become an adult. So I think that's part of why I identify so well with that. But I actually have worked on Columbine. I've worked with families from Columbine. And I also did readings for the family of the Sandy Hook tragedy in Connecticut.
Oh, that must really be very emotional.
It's crazy to say this, and I hope the listeners take this in the right context, but to me, their child is completely alive and well. So I've never experienced the death of the child. I experienced the livingness of their child, and my job is to connect them between where their loss stopped or began and where their child is completely whole, healthy, and complete.
That's true. You see it in a completely different perspective. I like that.
Yeah.
But looking at the parents' faces, though, right across the table from them, and they're just in this anguish, and you can't help but like cry too. I dropped my daughter off at camp today, and I teared up. What was that?
Yeah, no, when I drop my kids off, I understand. Yeah, no, I definitely tear up over my own kids. And in my early days, I can admit to you guys, because this is like a small, beautiful audience that's always been really supportive of me. I used to cry a lot in the beginning when I first, hung my shingle out and said, I'm a Christian clairvoyant medium. Come see me. I want to help you, And I remember dishing out my, my little, my readings for like $25, and just to try to help people to know that it was real. And I used to cry. And then I remember someone saying to me, like, if you're crying and they're crying, then who's helping you? And I really did learn to kind of suck it up. But you got to remember, I was a medic in the Army. I was also a paramedic, so I've been there at the scene of death many times for people and children. So for me, I've had to learn to kind of push that side of myself over so that I can be fully aware in the moment that they need me, that it's not my personal loss. I'm there to guide them through their loss. This is a career. This is a skill. This is like the military. Do you think they go and knock on the door and start crying? No. And it can be done. You're doing it. And it's, it is sad, hurtful, but you are offering comfort. And I'm so glad to hear about your new series that is coming out. And, I have to ask you, can you just listen to it, or do you have to read it, your book? So it's taken me a little time. I do struggle with a little bit of dyslexia, so I have to do my audiobooks with a dictation to make it a little quicker. So in the dictation, I love your voice, though. I was just going to say, I do actually narrate my own series. Good. So I do narrate my own series. And you have a unique, sexy voice. Sorry, everybody. It's like, the Demi Moore type. That. Yeah, so I would be sad if I bought your audio book and then it wasn't your voice. So I'm glad. A lot of times they use a voice-over expert. Yeah, that's what I was going to go for. I actually chose the voiceover, and then my one tribe revolted against it and said, no. Good. We want your voice. We want your face. I'm part of your one tribe. Readings, yes, you are. Johnny, you're both one tribe. Everybody listens and supports the work. Johnny's here. He's being really quiet, but we're listening, and I just want you to go on. But if somebody is just listening just now, we are talking about Sunshine Frost, who is you know what? She'll tell you her title in a minute. She is continuing her story about her life after death experience. Could you refresh our memories on how this happened? Again, you were in a bathtub. Why is it always you were people were in a bathtub? Why were you in a bathtub? I don't know. Like Whitney Houston, and you died. I noticed that. Yeah, no, I did. I died. Wow. I was completely separated from my body. I had done some drugs. I thought I knew what it was. It was actually cut with heroin. I inhaled it, and it ended up. Yeah, I actually snorted heroin accidentally. Thought it was something else. It was mixed. I didn't know it. Got into a hot bath, but it was instant. I immediately didn't feel well. There was loud music. I screamed for my girlfriend. She was nowhere to be found. I went into the bath. I thought I'd be okay. My heart stopped. Wow. I went from feeling this really warm, panic, scary feeling to just sinking through the bathtub. This is the capsize, because I write about the whole thing in Surviving Death. It's in the series. But I felt myself actually sink away from my body as if I was falling. But I was laying against the back of the tub, and I just began to fall very slowly, sinking through the only way I could put it is sinking through my body, through the actual metal of the tub. I could taste it as I was going through it, through the bottom of the concrete, into a very dark place went through the earth. I could feel the gems, the minerals around me. I could feel like I was part of them, the aquifers, the water, everything, and I just kept going down, down, down. And the further I sank, the more desperate and just so separated I felt. And it was a terrible feeling, that separation. It's not like anything we can experience in the body or in our corporal state.
Were you
our
scared?
Corporal state, very scared. Yeah, I was very scared for a very short time. I just
Did
realized,
you think you were
oh
going
my
to
God.
hell? You were going
I
to
didn't
the center
know,
of the
honestly.
earth?
I was being pulled downward, and it was my own despair. I thought that maybe Satan was pulling me down. I was going to hell. I thought all of that. But I just remember my life going before my eyes and thinking about all the opportunities and chances that I had, and my grandmother getting the call that I had died. And it was regret, like pure separation, isolation. I had felt very unworthy, rejected, unloved. I had, like, all those feelings became a part of my experience. And I remember being part of the Awanas program, which was a Christian program that they used to have at the churches on Wednesday nights. I mean, I went to it. Some other kids go to it. And I remember we learned, just John 3:16 and some other scriptures. And I remember thinking, as I was thinking, it felt like I had done it for hours. I mean, it just felt like it took hours and hours and hours. But as I sunk away from my body, I remember going through seeing my family getting the notice that I had died, that I had died naked, just like Marilyn. I was found naked in a bathtub, overdosed with my nose bleeding. I had like a stroke or a heart attack, and there was blood down my nose. And I knew there was. The last thing I saw was my hand to my face, and it was fully covered in blood. My hand dropped and my heart stopped. That was it. And just the thought of my grandmother and my dear, who took care of me, my dear grandmother getting that notice, and my father that I had died at 17 in a bathtub naked, it was strangers, basically, was just so horrible, And I remember just calling out, and I just said, God, save me. Like, please, I don't want to go this way. And I remember trying to cry, but there was no tears. There was no body. Being separated from your body is both very scary. And in that situation, I didn't feel this complete. A lot of people talk about the complete comfort and peace of death. I did not have that experience at first. It's like I sunk down, Barb, and then I couldn't go any further, and I was just in a place of what they call outer darkness, or the darkness of the soul.
Lapse.
Where there was
what
nothing.
Would you say?
Was
the second feeling all of this and these memories? I mean,
no,
it
was like hours. You mean like clinically to be passed, or how long did it feel like?
In your mind, when you were going down and your
forever.
heart stopped, you left your body and you were going down. From that moment going down and the horrifying and all of these, you're saying a lot of things went through your mind. How many seconds, or was it minutes, were you feeling this desperation?
There is no time. There is no time on the other side. We don't have, there's no time. There is no concept of time on the other side. Everything, all of eternity can be, you can't explain it, because we are here in this corporal, the earth state, the physical, where we have a sun, we have a moon, everything has a certain clock to it. There is no time on the other side, but it felt like many hours I was there, days even, that I was there waiting. And I finally remembered inside myself, I had a light inside of me. And I was looking for a light around me, and there was nothing. But inside of me, which I didn't have a body, which was very scary, because I tried to cry. I tried to hug myself. I couldn't, because I didn't have the physical. And I hated my body. I was somebody that had, it was just, there was no boundaries. So you become whatever you're around. So that you become part of the darkness. If you're in the earth, you become part of the earth. It's hard to explain, because there's no boundaries on your energy. Everything is energy. Your energy, it's okay.
I get it, though.
So
where you feel the furniture in your home is, you treat it as it's a living, you treat it human. I just listened to a podcast about that. And, we all do it, even though we really don't want to admit it. Just think about it. Look around you. Little items. You want it to sit there just right, because you don't want to hurt its feelings, and it's like this stuffed animal. That's treating it, and that is so interesting. So people just don't really think outside the box with a lot of things, and there's probably so many things we can, but I want to know why you had to go through that negative, if you know the answers. And
I do.
Okay,
so
just a minute, because I find this Sunshine Frost. I've never heard such a horrible after.
Yeah, that's.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's. It's not.
Great.
It's not a beautiful angelic experience, but it gets better. So as I'm there, I try to hug myself. I feel myself crying. I'm trying to reach somebody, and I reach out to Jesus. I call to God, and immediately I said, God, you know, I kind of was like cussing and yelling almost in my mind, like, you've never loved me. I knew you didn't love me. No, I was nothing to you. It's almost like I was breaking up with God, and I was having this conversation where I was like, I knew you didn't love me. You know, I was somebody that had a lot of hate for my body. I went through sexual abuse as a child, so I had a lot of eating disorders, body dysmorphia. I was beautiful, but I didn't know it. I wanted to always be something else. And I remember, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, when you're ready, we have some callers waiting, but I'm just saying when you're ready.
Yeah, not yet. So I didn't like my body, but when I was out of my body, all I wanted was to love on it. Like, I didn't realize how special my body was. And it was a temple, and it was a vehicle. Yeah, it became a temple. It became a vehicle. I didn't realize how precious it was, that it was a gift from God, that I had this body and that I had helped him create my body. And I didn't know any of that until I was out of it. So there was a light that came inside of me as I began to change my thinking. I began to think, you know, God is light and God does love me, and I am the one that didn't hate. I'm the one that hated myself. I'm the one that hated others. God didn't hate me. I had created this trauma and criticism and anger and rejection and all of these things, and I had believed on all these kind of really harsh, terrible things, and because that was my belief system, that's what happened to me. So as I called on it, I felt this light inside me begin to grow right where my heart center would be, and I felt myself lifting. When my thoughts would lift, I would lift, and my thoughts would lift, I would lift. And pretty soon I remember going above my body, and there was a beautiful realm directly above us, and I could see people going up off the earth in like white wisps, beautiful, and there was angels on either side of them that you could just see because they vibrate so fast. There was like, they look like they have wings really because of the vibration, how high they vibrate, and you can hear them. Every wing has a different sound, like music, constant music. And as I went up and up and up, I could see above the earth was a beautiful, just legions of angels around every person. And there was these basically tunnels that went to a reception area, which I learned later lots of people had seen this. In the Journey of Souls, it's talked about. I just found that recently, about a year ago. But I was able to go through a tunnel and meet my guide. And my guide said, I said, why did I go through that? And said, so you could tell them. And I said, what do I need to tell them? And that God is love, and that they are love, and that we're together in this, and that none of this is permanent, and that death is only a temporary situation. And when you go back, you'll be able to help the brokenhearted, because your heart was broken, basically. I was brokenhearted, and so I couldn't help anybody. And so I healed my own brokenheartedness. Then I could go back and help others. So there was a lot of things that happened. I don't want to get into all of them, but mostly just to remind everybody that we truly are loved. And that I remember thinking, was I separate from God? And she said, no, God was always watching you. But he didn't want to force you into his love. He had to wait for you to accept it. And that's why I was in the dark place, because I had to raise my vibration to match love. I didn't accept that someone could love me because I felt so unworthy. It wasn't God that separated me. It was myself.
Well, I think that's a beautiful story, but let's hope it doesn't come to that far.
There was many other souls. There was many other souls
in their life.
Well, there was many other souls in this place that had been stuck there, and many were ascending. Nobody was. The thing about
because
what I
of
learned,
you?
No, they were in the same. There was millions of souls in this place, millions and millions. I could feel them around me. I couldn't see them. Some were above me. Yes,
I've heard of this or I've seen a documentary on the artwork for these angels. There is an artist that started painting people's stories on life after death, and they're beautiful, and he puts into his paintings their memories. And these angels, when you said that, these fluttering, going up, like to heaven,
yes,
with little, and they have, you see the light, and they're zooming up there with a little trinkle sound. This is what this guy described. This guy painted it, not exactly, but they. Oh my gosh, you should check that out. We have to find that, Johnny, to share with people. Sure. It's the same, because I know it's like explaining a dream to people when it's so vivid, but this is definitely not a dream. And then,
no, it was very real.
How did you know they died, and who saved? Like, who? Do you remember your outer body? Did you have an outer body looking down at your dead body in the?
No,
I
went through it so. I had a choice, yeah. My guide gave me a choice to look, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to see myself like that. And I've been in thousands of readings where clients didn't want to see their body, and they don't have to. It's a choice. God does not traumatize us. Oh. It's a choice.
Okay.
My guides were always with me. My guides were with me even in the darkness. They never left me. They were waiting for me to either call on Jesus or Buddha or they were waiting for me. In this life, I'm a Christian. This is what I chose, yeah. And
we don't want people
to
suffer like that. We don't,
No,
that's
but
just a horrible thought.
Nobody made me. Nobody made me suffer. I chose that for myself. But what I learned was that all souls can be reconciled to God. It doesn't matter what someone. The worst. You think the worst person in the world, they can still ascend their energy. They can still lift their vibration. They can still be like the Christ. They can still lift and raise their vibration to be like an enlightened person, or, just love. Just love, period. That's the whole thing.
All right. Are you ready for your call, Sam? Or?
Yes. After this caller, we'll hear more about how people can, change their life with this happening. Please, would you like to have a caller, Sunshine?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Valerie, you are live on the air with Sunshine Frost.
Hi. Hello.
Valerie, how are you, love?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good. How can I help you tonight?
Yeah, I want to see if you see me working in healthcare part-time by September.
Can I have your age and your sign, please, Miss Valerie?
Ooh. I don't want to really give my age. Can I give my sign?
You can just give me around it. It's so I can actually pick up on your energy signature. It's usually required for all readings.
Okay. Let's go between late 50s, early 60s. Let's do that.
Okay. And what's your sign, love?
Gemini.
Now, were you working at another job and either got laid off or quit working there? Because they show me like you've been in the healthcare field for a long time.
Correct.
And did you get laid off recently or quit working?
Oh, I stopped on my own some years back.
Okay. Because, they show me like, did you have an injury? Because they show me you did retire from a nursing type or medical career, and you'd like to go back into some type of medical work now, and you've already applied for that job in September, and you're wanting to know if you're going to get it. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. I haven't fully applied, but I'm eyeing it. And and I just want to, Yeah, you should definitely put it in, because they show me you haven't made all the decisions necessary to get that position, but that you should apply yourself. So I would definitely, I can't say that you're going to get it. I would say that you should apply, because I feel that you could move in that direction. They definitely need the help. They're very understaffed, and we need all of the professionals we can get back into our medical field. So definitely apply. Absolutely, Miss Valerie.
they've already reached out to me already. So all I have to do is just respond back.
Yes,
and,
do it. Absolutely do it.
Mhm. Now, if I get in that position, do you see it going pretty well?
Absolutely.
Because it's been a little bit
You're
since
perfect.
I feel.
No. Don't even doubt yourself. You're going to be completely fine.
Oh, beautiful. And so you're seeing that by September?
They show me toward the
I'll
end
be
of
working.
September. They don't show me the beginning of September. I don't know what their holdup is, but you need to get on your side of it first. Get behind the ball and get it rolling. All right.
So,
well, thank you, Ms. Valerie.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank
You're
you for
welcome.
reassuring me that I'm well in that position.
Thank you,
Absolutely, Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sunshine Frost, for your expertise.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're so welcome.
Okay. Oh, so before you get the next caller, I have a tiny question about how you had this, after death life experience. So who made that up, after death life? Did you feel like after death this was a life experience, or how would you describe it?
Well, it was not even a near death. It was an actual death experience. It's crazy because you get a different sense of humor. Yeah. You get a different sense of humor. Like, I remember when I was a medic, we would laugh at things that other people would be very upset about because you have to kind of learn to get a thicker skin. Nurses, doctors, surgeons, medics, we have to learn to joke about things that are so, we can't handle it being sad all the time because nobody's energy can withhold that. But what happened is my guides even joke. I said, I don't want to go. And they're like, we're going to see you AD. We're just going to see you AD. Like, stop making a big deal. I was freaking out. I was like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. So I went from this place of, please don't let me die, to, oh, my God, I don't want to go back there again. And they said to me, you have to go. Oh, it was so good. And I was laughing. At the things I still laugh at this stuff we think is so serious. And my guides were like, we're going to see you AD. And that means after death. Like, we were teasing about it. Like, it's AD, dude. What are you talking about? Like, this is so, when you get there, you recognize that you laugh at the stupid stuff that you get angry about here. Like, you're looking down at yourself crying, and you're literally ribbing each other. Like, look what you were crying about. You were crying over you lost a credit card. You were crying about a parking spot. Like,
it's like
we laugh at each other. It's like little tantrums. We literally have constant tantrums here. We're always taking everything so seriously. But it was, it was an AD after that. We're like, I'll see you AD, And that's what I try to give my clients. Yeah, that's what they're talking about, Barb. They're talking about after death. Yeah.
Okay. The clients who, either they lost somebody, or have you met other people that have had the same experience? Maybe somebody doesn't believe them. Did that happen to you?
Oh, yeah.
About what year did
of course.
Life?
1990, in the 90s, I'll say that. I don't want to give my age.
Not that long ago.
No, not that long ago. It was in the 90s. And so that happened to me, and that's why I said in the beginning, disclaimer, whether your experience has been validated or not, all after-death survivors, so I don't call it near-death, I actually died and came back. I would say probably about I don't know. I chose to come back.
We haven't even gotten to that part.
Yeah, no, I chose to come back like a lot of people do. We all have a choice. Nobody's forced back into the body. So when you say you're praying at the bedside, they're in a coma, they've had a car accident, you're going, God, please save them. You have to recognize their soul chose not to come back. They were like, no, I love you, but I can't come back. I can't do this again. I can't go through the recovery. There's a reason that their soul decided not to come back into the body unless the body is damaged beyond repair. So some things like brain damage, complete coronary failure. There's like times when the laws of physics will not allow you to return to your body. But most times, like, I would honestly say 80% of the time, we choose not to come back into the corporal body because our non-corporal spiritual body is the expanded form of ourselves. It's actually like a much better form. It's much better to be in your spiritual body.
So do you consider the brain the same as the spiritual awareness?
No.
Is this
no?
Okay, so did you have
no.
brain damage, or does it matter?
No.
How did that work for you?
You know, I don't know.
From no oxygen.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we see miracles all the time, and it wasn't my time to go. I know that. I had soul contracts that I didn't even know what a soul contract was. I learned about that much later. I talk about that in another book. But Living Like You're Dying, that's the book. That's another mini series, which is about like people that have been diagnosed with something, or they want to live their life to the fullest, as if they're going to die in a week, you know, or they are actually being, you know, these turbo cancers are taking over and people are being diagnosed. And I have this mini book that I'm working on right now, and it talks about like how do we live in a way that we choose to live instead of just being on autopilot here. And that's a lot of what this is. You know, when I chose to come back, I had soul contracts, and I needed to perform those soul contracts, or I wouldn't be able to level up to the spiritual realm that I was trying to get to. That's why I was here. I was reminded that I wasn't here by accident. Like, this was the choice of my soul to come down at this time in history to accomplish these really impossible tasks so that I could actually get the spiritual progression that I was trying to get in this earth life, so that I could level up to where I needed to be. I had already wasted like the last life kind of not doing much, and this was my time to actually put the work in.
So you consider this as a second life, really?
Yeah, I do. Maybe more, but definitely, yeah, this is my second go-around on the same planet. And I'm hoping that I'm doing better. My guides are pretty happy with me, so I'm very connected to my angels, guides. You know, I'm very connected to my Jesus energy, to God as the oneness of love and compassion. So I'm doing a lot better. I think they're pretty happy with me.
Do you consider yourself like a disciple for Jesus, like a modern
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's what
I'm absolutely a disciple of Jesus. I'm a disciple of Buddha, too. So I basically am a disciple of all things that are complete compassion, releasing, just kind of releasing self, releasing the ego, anything that teaches me to release my ego body, ego self, materialism, commercialism. Obviously, we live in the world, and I love the world for what it is. But I don't want to buy into it. I want to remember who I am as a spiritual being, an eternal being.
Right. But before Johnny goes on, Johnny, hold on. I just want to say that if you want to know more, and this is all piqued your interest, or you just already love Sunshine Frost, you can go to sunshinefrost.com, right? Sunshinefrost.com.
Yes.
And everything is there.
You can go to my YouTube.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, you can go to my YouTube, Sunshine Frost. We have some I don't do podcasts. I don't do any of that, but I do my live show where we talk about these different things. Does God love mediums? Can God love you if you're gay? I just do a lot of can God love you, because we get hung up on that. We're so judgmental of each other. It's ridiculous. And we
have a lot of
that too on the
live
other side.
Weekly Facebook. Do you still have Facebook
daily
live events weekly?
Yeah,
daily now?
Yeah, daily.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do them almost every day. I do them, and I'm on TikTok at Spirit Doctor. So Spirit DR, because remember I went to medical training. I went to medical school, got out of that to pursue this. So I was obsessed with living and health and dying, and I got in. I wanted to spend my career saving others and working in emergency medicine, and eventually I realized I could save more hearts than I could lives just by doing my work. And I did not have this gift of mediumship to this level until after my experience.
It was a life-changing thing, so it was all worth it.
Yes.
Even though, that must have felt like you were going down to hell, which nobody wants to have that memory. That could even give you PTSD. That's why I'm thinking maybe there are other people who've experienced it in a horrible way. that didn't want to come back either. Maybe they didn't want to come back, and then they're back. I've actually heard about that, too, and they didn't want to be back, and they were disappointed. So there's all kinds of emotions.
When I was in the outer darkness, I did want to come back. I didn't want to be there. But I realized once I got to above my body, I was so happy. I was like, oh, this is great, you know? So I think I was able to have both sides.
You had that time. God wanted you to have that time to calculate all that in your head in a different perspective, way different perspective. And then you're like, oh, I get it, click. And then, boom, you're back. And now you are walking totally with God. You have the one tribe. You are a Christian, which is wonderful because a lot of Christians out there have sometimes a problem with anything.
They have judgment. Oh, man.
Right?
Yeah, they love it. Yeah, they're the first.
Have you had that experience?
Oh, yeah. You know, I love it. I love my Christian brothers and sisters, but I want to say we're all walking with God. It's not just Christians that walk with God. We all walk with God. That's something that I learned very quickly. It's not just one place, and I do believe Jesus is the way, the light, and the truth of pure compassion and love, and he's the easiest path to God. But we all walk with God, no matter who you are, no matter what religion or race. Women that are born in the Middle East that are Muslim, they walk with God. God does not have a respect of persons. He doesn't pick only one person to save or to love. He loves everyone, every single person on this earth.
Okay, are you ready for the next caller?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, Mary Amy, you are talking to Sunshine Frost.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. How are you?
Good. I was listening, and I really enjoyed your insight and your near-death experience, if you want to call it. What was the other terminology you used? Not near-death, something else.
After death.
After death. And I have a common understanding about that because I, too, had that. I had two experiences, but I just wanted to ask you I'm going to, ask you. Is that okay if I ask you a question?
Yes, please. I would love it. Go right ahead.
Okay. So you said, like, age-wise, so I'm late 40s, early 50s. And then was there another question you needed answered? I forget what it was.
Yeah, so we're going to, I think Johnny had said it's one question per caller unless it's a personal question, like, toward me. And then I just asked for people's age and their sign or their birthday to help me connect better to your energy signature.
Sure. I'm a Leo.
Okay.
So my question is...
What's your question, love?
My question is, I feel as though I'm at a crossroads and, things are happening like they're going wrong a little bit, like my car, the battery's not working a few days, my job seems to be ending, and I'm starting to look at other opportunities. Do you see or sense any opportunities that are coming my way or something that is going to change for me in the near future?
So you've been with the same place for a long time, correct?
How long what do you mean a long time? Like, what does that mean?
They said you've been in the same kind of job field, the same kind of career situation for a while. Like, that situation had already expired, but because of your loyalty, you continued to stay in a situation that wasn't optimal.
Okay. But it's been 8
like
months,
your job
so
situation,
I don't know if that's 8 months.
What was the job you did before that?
I was a holistic coach.
Okay. You got out of holistic coaching and went into this job for someone else, correct?
For someone else.
You work for someone else right now?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But the holistic coaching, was that for yourself, your own business?
Yeah, it was my own business, correct.
But did you feel like you weren't as successful as you could have been, or you weren't making as much, there wasn't job security?
No, it was more like I just got burnt out.
Helping so many people, or just
what
was the burnout?
Exactly. Like the burnout was that, like I needed to move on to something else, that it it was like I loved doing it, and I had a great experience. However, like right now, Sunshine, it's more like it's based on making money to be able to provide, to pay my bills.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you're talking about, but they're showing me that is, and this is where you kind of come into that crossroads, because part of it is the material world. We live in a material world, but we're sent here with callings and anointings. And your calling and anointing is to be a healer. You are a guide because you're very, very strong, and you are sent to guide and to heal people. And you're not able to be doing that really at this job. It's not the same capacity. So they show me that giving up one, moving toward only the material, is not blessing you with the anointing and the calling that you have. So I would love to see you pick up some clients on the side. I don't feel like they're going to completely end your job. Are they giving you an ultimatum? They're going to end your job? Because I see it just being difficult for you.
No one's ending my job. I'm actually interviewing for jobs that would make more money, just because it served a purpose, because it kind of got me on my way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But now I need. So
what's the new career field
I'm not
that you're
driven
going
by money.
into?
Sorry?
Yeah, but that's what career field did you just apply for? Because I see two positions. What did you just apply for that was more money?
It's I don't want to jinx it by saying it.
There's no jinx here. You don't jinx anything. You pray in the white light.
I know what you're saying. However, I just feel like I just want to keep the energy around it and the power to it. I don't want to just release it out on a radio show. And I'm not trying to be silly or anything, but I just have to hold on to that for my own self. But
there's two that I see.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm not driven by
two,
money.
So I'm just trying to figure out which one that you are wanting, because there's two separate ones.
Okay. Well, thanks for telling me that, because I was only aware of one of them. I applied for 5 different things, and I have one that I have an interview for. So I'm glad you're telling me there's 2.
What's the field? I mean, you don't have to give me the job. What's the field?
The field is childcare.
Okay. Because I still see you doing your part of your holistic coaching is being a life coach and healer. And I don't see you giving that up, but there's clients that are still trying to contact you that you're not working with, right?
No, you know what? It's like I've been at this position where I'm at, and I had somebody that was supposed to come through, and I had done it before, and it was just like it blew my mind, because it was just too many people, and now it seems to not be flowing. So I said, fine.
Yeah, because you haven't made that decision. So, yeah, you're not releasing the energy. Like, you have the power to be extremely, I'm talking 3 digits successful as a holistic life coach and healer, a wellness coach. But until you truly make that decision where your mind, your body, and your spirit align, that's when the finances come in for you. You would be able to do it, but you do need to protect your energy, because you give so much. You give it to the point of exhaustion every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're not there to setting the boundaries. If you just set boundaries, I would like to see what you're doing at 54, because where are you at, 52? I'd like to see you in a couple of years with where you're at.
Okay.
Building on your business, I know you said you don't want to do it right now, and that's okay to take a break. I had to take a break from mediumship a few times and go back to medicine before I was totally prepared to take this on as an anointing and a calling.
Yeah.
But I promise you, continue to push forward and don't walk backwards. You know, you don't have to go back to where you were, but keep moving forward, because it's still part of your calling. And the thing with the car, that's unrelated. It's unrelated. You're going to upgrade yourself. I do see a new job. But again, think about maybe rebranding and reapproaching your calling as well.
I love, you are just, you're so authentic, and everything you said resonated with me, and I was listening for like the last half an hour, and I just want to commend you. You're just unbelievable, and you're so true, and I everything you said about when you were going through your experiences was so true, because I had very similar one. So I just want to tell you, give you validation. Not that you need it, but I just want to tell you that I understand because I've been there. And thank you for sharing that and being honest and speaking about it and just walking people through it because, I don't know, it's just not the norm, You're just really a special person. So thank you.
Thank you so much for actually I do. We all need validation. Nobody doesn't need it. Don't think anybody doesn't need validation. We all need authentic. Yours was very authentic and meaningful, and I could feel the emotion, and it does help me to connect to you, and I just appreciate you supporting me in this journey of spreading the love and light of the One Tribe all over the world.
Yeah. All right, sister.
So thank you.
I'm wishing you well, and maybe we'll, have some other thing together some other time.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about your near-death experience. I'd love to hear about that on my YouTube. So just reach out to me.
Sure, I will.
All right, thank you so much.
There's a link right here for YouTube. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. That was heartwarming, Sunshine. It must feel good to help people, and you do have a great demeanor, and I was just on your website, plus of course we're friends via Life, Laughter, Happiness, but me, Barbara Moore, I was just connecting with you on Facebook. Wow, you really have, it's simple, clean, to the point, blog, book now, the Instagram, Facebook. Then if you're on Facebook, then let's do the therapy and the live every single day. And this is really organized. And I've even watched it grow since we've had you on. Not even long ago.
Yes.
It's grown even so much more. And you are just not ever stopping. And you have so much energy. And so we know what keeps you going. You say love. Love keeps you going. Yeah. And you have so much energy.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they found out what happened, what your condition was with your heart, I mean. And so then you can be more careful about that. But that's probably why it happened. It was really accidental. You didn't know. Yeah.
I had heart
in the bathtub. Your heart just couldn't take it.
I had another near-death. I had another near-death experience 2 years ago.
But this one was near.
We'll talk about. Yeah, this was not death.
This last one was near.
This is near.
The other one you
All right.
How do you know for sure? Did you get rescued? Did somebody find you in the bathtub? You didn't tell us that part.
That's what we're going to have to save for the next show because we're over the hour. I'm so sorry,
Or buy
guys.
your book. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Or buy the book, or we'll talk about it on the podcast. But thank you guys so much for having me back on the show. I absolutely love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of your followers. Thank you so much, Barb. Thank you so much, Johnny. You guys just mean the world to me. I love coming back on,
welcome.
so just have me again, and we'll talk about this next time.
Well, thanks, and thank you for being our guest and helping some of our listeners tonight. We love having you on and your expertise and your energy and spunk, and keep on going, One Tribe. And we love to have a Christian. Let's just go over your title before we let you go, okay?
Christian, Clairvoyant, and Medium.
Master Clairvoyant. And international medium and remote energy healer and accurate clairvoyant. Okay.
And I'm a medical intuitive. I'm a medical intuitive. Yep. Yes, Christian everything, totally.
Okay, so easy to find you, everybody. Sunshine Frost, you can't ever forget that name. SunshineFrost.com. And have a great night and rest of the week. And we can't wait to talk to you again, hopefully soon. Okay?
Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful night. God bless.
You too. Bye. Night.